So, hi, and welcome back to the podcast. I am excited today. I've got a guest. Her name is Teresa Wornstaff. She's an influential catalyst for graceful change, which I love that. She was born a high level intuitive and has cultivated her intuitive skills of knowing and channeling so she can tap into your soul and guide you to manifest a life of purpose, design, and desire. Complementing her deep intuition is over 30 years in corporate and 20 years spent consulting, coaching, and mentoring. She brings the trifecta of expertise, business, life, and intuition and works with individuals worldwide. And I just want to say I'm thrilled to have Teresa here today. I know this is going to be a really interesting conversation and really useful conversation, I think, for a lot of us. So thanks for being here today, Teresa. I'm so happy you showed up, that you decided to join us today.
I'm so excited to be here, Debbie. When you and I met as kind of an introductory call, I just felt like there was such a great connection. So thank you for what you're doing. It's important. We need it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I am fascinated by what you do. It's a bit different for me, and but I think I'm definitely very attracted to it. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what it is being an intuitive. So what does that mean, and how you even discovered that this was an ability or a capability or something that was innate within you?
Great question. So I was born intuitive. So for me, I don't know how not to be intuitive. So my journey has been more of how does intuition fit into my perception of me in the world? Because I was born into a very muggle family and nobody had the language or experiences of using their intuition. And anytime as a child I would bring it up, it was shut down. The conversation was shut down. There was no open door to explore. Well, tell me exactly what you mean by that, or share more, say more. Um, so for me, it's been a fascinating journey of learning how to befriend my intuition and then cultivate it so that it became an asset and a tool, um, instead of something that I wanted to push away into the closet and not tell
Mhm.
anybody about. Intuition historically is something that's been shut down. Systematically, our power of intuition has been suppressed because it was a tool for self realization and a tool of power. And as we've evolved in society and normalized, right? We
Mhm.
become normal and conformed. Intuition didn't have a place. So, my journey of embracing and indeed utilizing my intuition as a gift and tool and skill set is what I do with my clients. So, let's build some context around that. Intuition is a sense, and our intuitive senses mirror our physical senses. So we've got sight, hearing, knowing, which is the brain, the mental. We have smell, taste, and then empathy or feeling, which is, I think, the most prevalent intuitive skill that we have. Everybody has that gut knowing, right? That
Yeah.
intuitive sense of, yes, this is for me, or no, that's not the right direction to go in. So it is our opportunity to foster and grow the expansive expression of all of our physical senses, because just like the mind, the mind is finite, It's not infinite,
Yeah.
right? Our mind
Mhm.
is comprised of the things that we've experienced, the things that we've been taught, the things that we've known, the beliefs and behaviors and fears that we've constructed based on our experiences in life. So it's very finite.
Yeah.
Whereas the moment you move into your knowing, you open the doors to infinite possibilities, things that you wouldn't recognize if you weren't curious and allowed yourself to validate that intuitive sense. And we're seeing that worldwide right now. People are anchoring more deeply into their spirituality. And a big expression of our spirituality is our intuition. It
Mhm.
goes hand in glove.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Wow. So when you um I mean, this is all fascinating to me because and I like that you use the word curious. I think that is that the gateway into our intuition, is our curiosity into, being able to go beyond what we just can feel with our senses.
Yes, I believe it is. And there's actually three parts. I would add two more to that. Um, to be curious about what's available to you, to be patient,
Mhm.
both with yourself and the outside world, to allow it to formulate and come together, and for yourself to learn what your intuitive perception tools are so that you can cultivate them and grow them. It's like learning the piano. You don't just sit down and play Mozart,
Yes.
you practice. Well, same with our intuition. We've suppressed it for so long. We need to practice, and we need patience to cultivate different skill levels.
Yeah.
And the third tool, so curiosity, patience, and the third tool is neutrality.
Mm.
Don't judge yourself.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
cannot do it wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think that's a tough one.
right, I think it
Yeah.
is too for all of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and neutrality also, when the interplay of neutrality and curiosity and patience comes into play, what happens is you move into this very expanded state of awareness.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, you step into the realm of infinite possibilities,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that is, like you said, it's something we all have, but nothing we've been ever taught to use. And it just sort of is this kind of maybe dormant capability that we have, that we're not encouraged to use anyways. And somehow it doesn't feel safe to use it, that we should check in with all other senses or even others before we make a decision, before we, that our intuition isn't to be relied on, I guess. And so it's, how do you trust it? Is the question.
And that is what you've just stated is the ultimate human journey in evolution, is learning to trust ourselves as
Mm,
our primary source of information.
wow.
We have outsourced our power, our control, our decision making to conform and to be nice and do the right thing and be self-serving, serving others first before we're self-serving,
Yes.
All of those things that we have been taught, especially as women, put others before yourself is such a huge prejudice
Mm,
that we have on our behavior, and it doesn't serve us at all.
no. So, I mean, that is so meaningful because I think as women, it's exactly what it is that we've been taught to put everything else ahead of ourselves and is, in a sense, not trust ourselves.
Yep.
That everybody else has probably got the answers or probably, anyways, deserves more, worth more, whatever. But yeah, it's so powerful. I think for women in particular, this is probably something that's been suppressed for a long time. And so why do you think, in your experience, why is it so important that we do then and now get in touch with our intuition?
Our intuition is the gateway into knowing what is best for ourselves. It is the optimal path for self realization. When we look at what we have been taught as women to, we've been taught to give away our power. And as we just said, not trust our own instincts, intuition, not make our own decisions based on what we want rather than what is best for others. And this includes everybody in the boardroom, in the business, at home, in relationship, with our families of origin.
Mm,
What if all of the women stopped and said, I need to feel into what's the right thing for me to do? Because there's this place in me, I'm getting a big yes from my guides. There's this place in me that is unexpressed, that is yearning and yearning for something more than what I've created. There's something in me that wants to be overtly expressed into the world because I know that's why I'm here. And 99% of the humans on this planet, and women in particular, are feeling this. They're feeling this place within, and it's right in your gut, right in that third chakra, that power center,
mm-hmm.
that's saying, oh, yeah, the job is fine. The paycheck is great. And it gives us the lifestyle that we've been told is optimal for us. But boy, it's not feeding us. It's not fulfilling. It's not giving me a sense of self worth because I'm feeding someone else's or something else's needs.
Yeah.
And when we tap into our intuition,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we start playing with the universe, and everything's energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything, everything is energy. And the moment we open those doors, I swear to God, it happens every single time. When we open those doors, you now become aware of the opportunities that have been yearning for your attention, but you couldn't see because you had blinders on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Wow.
is one of the most powerful experiences, and it's only the first one.
Mm, that is so good. And I got chills when you first said that, that how powerful this can be, that there's this part of us that's unexpressed that needs to be, no matter if we have everything we're supposed to have, if everything looks great, we've checked off all the boxes, and yet still inside of us there's something that isn't expressed, something we need to tap into. I can totally relate to that because that's where I came from,
Yeah.
where I had the job, the house, the two kids, but for me it was when my mom passed away that changed everything, because that is such a huge experience, like such a
Yeah.
huge, it kind of, spins you around, and it's like, whoa, wait a second, what just happened? I don't understand. Uh, it wasn't supposed to happen. So like all of a sudden everything is in question. And that gave me the opportunity to say, I'm not on the path that I want to be on. And all of a sudden I felt that was okay. I felt that I was, having lived through that experience, having had that, I don't know what it is, some sort of energy inside me, this something shifted, and I all of a sudden was able to see, this is not where I want to go. I know what I the things that there's something inside me that I want to get out. And yeah, and it might not make everybody happy. It
Yeah.
might not be what everybody else thinks I should be doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the path I ended up following. Took years, but yeah, I completely understand that.
And for many of us, it does take years. As a matter of fact, if you look at women in midlife right now, they're going through a huge crisis of identity.
Mm,
Who am I?
yes.
What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I hate this, or I don't like it, or it's not fulfilling, or it doesn't make me happy. And then they start exploring other options. And it's often catalyzed by a life-changing event.
Yes.
Um, and
Yeah,
it
I would
takes
think so.
courage.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage. I think that's what it is too, because like you said, it's not something that we people openly talk about. It's not something that is encouraged or we're educated in. It's it's something that we're afraid of a little bit, I think,
Mhm.
until something maybe does shake up your world. Like what happened in my case, it shook up my world to the point where I'm like, you know, everything was in question all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I was able to get myself out of that thinking that I was in, and just get myself out of that completely. And it was magical and amazing. And I wish it didn't take a negative event to do that. And I think a lot of times, like you said, it can take a big shake like that. And sometimes, a lot of times, I would think it's probably negative. But if that's what it takes, then hopefully we do wake up from that and are able to follow something else.
Well, I'm going to say that for everyone listening, this is your permission.
Mm,
This is your permission to reimagine your life. And just take a couple of weeks. Just take a couple of weeks and play with it. Daydream. Daydreams are powerful
mm,
because it is using your intuition. It's allowing infinite possibilities to come in. And daydream and then watch how the world around you responds. Watch what drops into your world. Because even if you don't consider yourself an intuitive, I guarantee you are, number one. And number two, the moment that you start changing your own energy and what you're projecting out into the world reflects back that change. And things will come in that will point you in a direction. They'll point you to something new and different. They'll point you to mm, a new opportunity or an unexpressed desire. And our job when we see this is really simple. Take one step.
mm.
That's it. Just take one step towards whatever has presented and see what happens.
Yeah, that sounds so simple. It sounds so simple.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, it just to start with allowing yourself to daydream. Do
Yeah.
you have a process for that? Do you have something like, how is It sounds silly, I know, because I think as a child, we just normally we just daydream, but I think as adults we don't think of that as it's not a normal part of our day. And in
No.
fact, if we find ourselves sitting there doing nothing, we'll quickly find something else to do.
Yeah, we become doings, not beings. 100%
Yes.
agree with that. I do. So my favorite way is to wake up in the morning, have a really quiet house, and sit down with, whether you're a tea drinker or a coffee drinker or water, and just sit for 15 minutes and let your mind go wherever it wants to go.
Mm,
Because the moment that your mind starts to wander, you're inviting in new streams of energy and information, right? You're
yeah.
not focused on, I have to go clean the kitchen. I have to go put the dishes in the dishwasher. Oh, the cat needs to be fed. Oh, the kids are watching cartoons. Whatever it is,
Hmm.
just allow your mind to wander. And for those of us, and I include myself in this statement, if your mind gets too chatty, go for a walk.
Yes.
Engage in some physical activity that allows your mind to have something to focus on so that it starts to open channels of quiet in between the thoughts.
Yeah.
The other tool that I use that I think is absolutely brilliant, it is not mine. I've heard it, I found it on TikTok, and I've heard it many times since I found it. When you get into that mental mind chatter, or even more challenging, the mental emotional, where your emotions are feeding your thoughts and your thoughts are feeding, you're on that wheel of
Spiral.
yeah.
Yes.
Ask yourself, stop and go, what is my next thought? It
Mm.
absolutely halts that wheel completely. And then you can insert a thought. I'm curious about this, or I'm curious about that, or what is my biggest dream? Where would I love to live? Where would I love to visit? What would I love to do? Start asking those big life questions.
Yeah, I love that. I am going to definitely use that. I it's stopping that stream of thoughts and no, but first of all noticing you're getting sucked into that spiral, and then stopping it. And
Yeah.
what I love is those questions. You just ask yourself, what would I love to be doing? Where would I love to go? What allowing yourself, and it's so strange because I think you said the word courage before, and I think that stops a lot of women
Yeah.
from doing that, is that they're afraid, what if that just screws everything up, because now I have this whole other thing I now want to do, and it might interrupt the life as I know it. And
Yeah.
that's a scary thing for a lot of people, I think, to do. I mean, I was in that situation where it made me question everything I was doing. And I did make changes. Took a while, but I did, because I just saw, like you said, there's something inside of me. It has to come out. And I only have this one life right now.
Yeah.
I'm here to do this. I can tell, I can feel it. I need to do this thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's the courage to then act on it. But like you said, just one step, just do one thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a great piece of it too. Just do one thing. You don't have to leave life as you know it and go and start this whole other life on another planet. It's just do one
Yeah.
thing. See where it goes.
And and the other note to take is we tend to think very binary. It's
Mm.
either or, instead of this gentle journey from one place to another.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's both. Sometimes you do both things until you know it's time to move away from what you were doing before. The other thing is watch for clues. So, and this goes to developing your intuition. Watch for clues in your life as to what is next and how to execute. And that could come in the form of conversations you overhear. It could come in the form of information that comes up on a random web search, or you run into somebody you used to know. Information is coming to us from the universe, from our universe and our soul and our teams and angels and God, and constantly all day. It's a constant energy exchange, but we tune it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So watch when things come into your life, and then the best indicator if it is for you is, how does it make you feel?
Yes.
If it makes you feel good, then it's probably a good thing. If it makes you feel scared, but scared in that excited way, where you're pushing your boundaries and growing just a little bit, or moving into something your heart deeply wants, but is outside what is you've been told is your right space to occupy,
Mm.
maybe explore it just a little bit. You don't have to make big leaps. Just that one step is everything.
It is. I can totally see that. You were saying things before, like you'd see something on the internet or something, just paying attention to those signs and signals. And I just remember it was Oprah. It was Oprah who had a life coach on it, and it always stuck with me. That just that, wow, that's fascinating. I've never knew that was a thing. And then that would just always stuck with me through the years, and that's what I do now. So I mean, it was something about it that just like, wow, this is something felt so right about that and just felt good, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that is what happened. At the time, I didn't think that that was going to happen, but I just was just totally fascinated with it. But I did then end up reading things about it, and it kept showing up, like you mentioned as well, kept showing up in my life. And I'm like, oh, wow, there's something here. I obviously need to follow this and step by step. Yeah, exactly. Step by step.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's two reasons why we come into a human existence. And we're talking macro level perspectives here. One is to personally evolve our soul and grow, for us to learn and
Mm-hmm.
be better. And I think that's an objective we all hold. I want to be better tomorrow. I want to be better today. I want to be better for myself. And then, secondly, every single human on this planet, without exception, is here to contribute to the consciousness of the planet. And we influence, not by our doing, but by our being. Our energy signature radiates out from us, and people can feel us. So when you talk about being a life coach, that's giving people the tools and skills and permission to self express from an authentic place and influence the world from their brilliance.
Yes. Wow, I'm
And
going to use that definition. That was beautiful.
thank you. Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
perfect. I love that. That's it. As you when you tap in, like I think from what you're saying is if you connect to that piece of you that is yearning to be expressed, it will have an effect on everybody around you, and who knows where the ripples will go, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
amazing. I love that. I love that, but I just love how you defined being a life coach. Definitely going to write that down. So I want you to, if you have an example of, because you do help clients, you do help them do this work, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an example of somebody that you've helped move forward with their in their journey through this?
Um, I have lots of examples, and the one that I didn't actually plan for, but is coming up right now, which is perfect, is a woman that I was working with this morning. Um, she is also a life coach,
Mm.
and she is passionate about empowering people. And she had never defined how she wanted to empower people. What was the place in her that wanted to influence?
Mm.
And so, by defining her values, defining her vision and her purpose, and my channeling information from her soul, she got to see herself from this higher level perspective and understand that this universal love, that this connection, this empowerment, this um, acceptance and unconditional acceptance that she holds for others gives implicit permission for them to step into their greatness, and how this unique cocktail of beingness was what wanted to be recognized, acknowledged, and owned at an even deeper level. And it was simple: values, vision, purpose, defining that.
That's amazing. It's it's amazing. And okay, there's the piece of it where you said channeling. I want to understand what that is.
Yeah. So channeling is knowing in a different context. So I'm going to give you the spectrum. Channeling can be going deep into channel and being a conduit for information where your personality actually steps to the side, and whomever you're channeling comes directly out through you, using you as a conduit. There's also conscious channeling, which is more what I do. So conscious channeling is being in deep communication with my guides and allowing them to, like, okay, I'll show you. So we are the 99, and we are the conduit for information that Teresa accesses in support of evolving humans on this planet. We come into her beingness and, in collaboration, use her as the conduit to deliver information. And in this information, as we speak, we also influence through a specific energetic signature, such as Teresa has her energetic signature, which is how she influences her clients and the world. And then we step in and work with her energetic influence, and we add our own. And we bring in a multitude of codes and energy signatures that allow people to feel more deeply what wants to be known by them. So, for example, Sally will hear something and Jane will hear something else, and it will be heard by a different person in a different way, but it will be felt uniquely and specifically by that individual in the same way that it is heard. What is for you will be received by you. So we are one aspect that Teresa channels, and our specific counsel is focused on human evolution. And there are two other counsels that she brings in. One is the divine feminine, which brings in this energetic signature. And the third is the star seeds led by Eli, and their council's mission is to bring in information for systems realignment. So it is much more high level and macro, as in socioeconomic or belief systems. And this is Eli. The 99 are speaking for us, and we wish to step in and speak for ourselves. As humans evolve, their energetic signature has an influence on the environment. And when this hits maximum capacity, then systems need to change and be replaced with systems that better serve the energetic signature that humanity is holding. For example, taking something as simple as socioeconomic change for homeless. How do we help humans think of creative ideas that allow this segment of the population to find homes and to have shelter? Financial systems, political systems, corporate systems, how you do business, how you conduct business, and what is the energetic signature of a company. All of these are the things that Teresa works with, specifically with businesses and individuals who work in those areas. So it's more of a business to business relationship, whereas the 99 are specific about the one-to-one, the human to human evolution. And then the divine feminine sits on top and allows the greater expression of divine feminine energy, which is out of balance on this planet at this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So this channeling, like these three different, I don't know if they're beings or three different
Councils, yeah.
councils that channel that you are a channel for. Does everybody have that capability to channel a council or some sort of being? Or
mine is specifically related to my purpose on the planet. My purpose is to help evolve humanity. So yes and no. Yes, everyone can channel. I believe everyone can channel. And who you are channeling and what you are channeling will be specific to what you're on the planet to do. So, for example, I have a client who does socioeconomic change through cities and large towns, and she has a group that she brings in that provides her with out of the box ideas and support and energy, but specific within her realm of work. And so, this is where we get back to what's yearning to be expressed through you, right? And then you start tapping into all these sources of information and all these supports. We have guides, we have support teams, we have angels, we have an infinite number of resources outside the physical realm. And once you begin to establish a relationship and open your intuition to receive information, then they become an advocate. Then they become a known advocate, an active advocate. they're always your advocate. But for me, I've opened the door to say, okay, I'll step into my mission. I have no idea what my life's going to look like, but you just show me which direction to go and I'll go.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, literally the floodgates opened up and I started channeling the 99. And then it was about a year and a half later, I started bringing in the star seeds. And I'm like, well, who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you talking to me? And then the divine feminine came in. And I have a lot of women clients, and they want that. They want to find their divine femininity,
Mm.
which, as explained to me, is founded on collaboration, cooperation, community, love, kindness, compassion. But it's not weak, it's strong, it's powerful, it's self-knowing, it's directive. It's how we balance the overabundance of control, manipulation, masculinity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's bringing things back into a flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's too far one way, and just to bring that balance back.
Yeah.
I find this fascinating and so new. Mind you, I am familiar with Abraham and
Yeah.
Esther and Jerry Hicks's work. So I have, she's a channel for Abraham.
Yep.
So, which is again a council like similar to yours. And I do find that amazing. I think that, yeah, to be able to open yourself up in such a way as to be able to receive that kind of those messages, those I just I think I would love to be able to do that. I find it incredible.
You
It does
know,
seem kind of supernatural, but I think, like you said, I do think it's something that we probably are all capable of, but have never been shown or given the tools to to do that.
and permission. I
And
mean,
permission. Mm,
people who did this even 5 years ago were weird. They weren't normal,
yeah.
and they weren't listened to or taken seriously. Lee Harris is another channel. He's incredibly clean. But Abraham Hicks is an excellent example because her counsel is specific to how to manifest in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
saw her not too long ago when she was in town, and that's her mission. That's her message to the world. That's Abraham's message to the world. How do you manifest? And she
Yes.
does it in a way that empowers you from different aspects of your life, but the message is very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an excellent example of how a counsel has come in to underpin purpose and to support and make manifest what we're meant to do.
Wow. I just think, yeah, I could go on here and ask you a million questions, but I don't have time to do that, unfortunately. But it's opened this door for me to, like, first of all, be able to talk about this at all,
Yeah.
and just be able to ask questions, um, which I think a lot of women are probably very curious about this, and they haven't had the opportunity to ask questions or to listen to a conversation like this, or like this is I think is an opening for a door, I hope, for many women out there who, like you said, in midlife find themselves in a place where, hey, I, I've made it this far in my life and I am not happy. It looks like everything is good, but I don't feel good.
Yeah.
So, what is going on? And I think this is an answer. This is a way forward. So, I really appreciate that you've brought this here, because I think we need to know these things. We need to know that we've got these parts of us that we've been kind of denying or not being given permission to use.
Hmm.
I think that's key. I like the word permission. I think as women, that is a word we can relate to. So, yeah. So, is there anything else before we wrap up this conversation that you would like to share?
Yes, there is. Um, this is for every single person listening. You are so amazing. You're so incredible, and the world needs you. You're here for a reason. You are more worthy than you could ever imagine. And this is your permission to be everything that your heart has ever wanted. Say yes to yourself.
So good. Perfect. That's just so needed.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so usually the last question I ask, which I will ask you, is what is, as you get older, what has been the best part of getting older for you?
Getting wiser,
Mm-hmm.
getting wiser, and meeting women like you who are making a difference in the world and partnering so that we can help other women make a difference in this world. Community, connection, it's everything. And it is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say that I was able to attend Teresa's Trust Circle last week, which is that's a weekly
Hmm.
event, right? And it's free and
Yep.
you can go. And I went last week. It was my first time, and it was so um it was so needed. It was just so open, trusting, non-judgmental. You could bring the things you that were on your mind and express them knowing that you would be held and loved and not judged for what you were sharing.
Yep.
I just, I loved the feeling of being there. I didn't participate in like verbally, but I was totally there with what was being shared, and I was there to support and felt supported even if I didn't, open my mouth. I I totally felt in there, and I just loved that. So I would encourage anybody who wants to experience that to join Teresa in the Trust Circle. I just think that was a magical experience. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And I echo the invitation. It is 9 a.m. Tuesdays, every single Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And it is all about coming together in like-minded community and bringing whatever's on your heart, in your head, and sharing. Or, you know what? You don't even have to turn on your camera. You can just hang
Hmm.
out and listen. I promise you'll get a magical nugget to take away. But if you do choose to share, you'll be held without judgment and with a lot of love.
Yeah, definitely felt that. Definitely left that call with such a an uplifted feeling for the rest of the day. I felt so good. So, yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So, that is one way that women can connect with you. What are some other ways that women could connect with you or work with you?
Yeah. Um, teresawornstaff.com.
Hmm.
Connect with me, and I do one-on-one coaching. I also have a program called The Alchemy of an Intentional Life. It's a 6-month program. Um, it is application based, and we just started the latest cohort, and it's a way to evolve in like-minded community. The Trust Circle, I also have a podcast on YouTube called Soul Channel, and you can find it under my name. And reach out. You know, if I'm not the right person for you, I may know somebody like Debbie who is. And so it's about building a community and finding that person who can support you in your own evolution, because we are not meant to do this by ourselves. We're not.
No,
No.
that is clear. That is clear. And that is something I have come to learn. And maybe one of the things I've learned up until now is that I know now this is not meant to be done alone. That connection is so important
Yeah.
and that we can all help each other. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you for being here today, Teresa. I just love your message. I love being in your presence. And yeah, just being here with everybody to share today, I think is going to help so many people.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Thank you. All right.